So I was talking about this right quick, right? And so people say that Peter was a coward, but Peter wasn't a coward. Peter was just a man full of pride at certain points because he understood who he was. You got to think about it. How could Peter be a coward when the soldiers came to get Jesus? He stepped up in front of all of the soldiers with a knife, with a sword, and chopped one of the soldiers' ear off. That ain't no coward, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, we'll be full of pride of who we think we are. You know what I'm saying? Watch this. Watch what I'm about to say right here. Watch what I'm about to say right here. Because we are full of pride of who we think we are, it'll cause us to drown out what God is telling us. I want you to hear that one for me one time right quick. We know who we are. But oh, this is about to be good when I say it. I'm going to write this down. We know who we are of the flesh, but we don't know who we are with God in spirit. Right? We know who we are in flesh. I'll do this. I'll do that. I'm about this. I'm about that. I'll do this. Then I'll play with me. But we don't know who we are in spirit. We haven't fully matured in spirit yet. So Peter hadn't fully matured in spirit yet, but he knew who he was in flesh. Right? He knew who he was in flesh. I'm a fisherman, but I'm about that life. I'll cut somebody ill. I'll punch somebody in the face. Peter was rowdy. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't no coward. He was rowdy. He was about that. Like, you got to think about it. People like, oh, Peter's scary. How could he be scary? When the soldiers came, he went up front and center in front of Christ. He got up front and center. And in front, all the soldiers, he cut somebody ill. That ain't no coward to me. A coward been like trying to hide behind Christ and trying to hide and duck off and all that. He wasn't no coward. You know what I'm saying? So I would be like, well, how he was a coward? Why people like, what, Peter was scary? Peter, no, he wasn't. Peter cut the soldier ear off when everybody came out there. He ain't duck, he ain't hide, he went in front there, he cut. You know what I'm saying? But watch this though. I want you to understand something. Peter knew who he was in the flesh, but he didn't know who he was in the spirit. Right? He was dominant in the flesh. Right? But he wasn't mature in the spirit. Right? Because if he was mature in the spirit, he would say, God, how do I? You know what I'm saying? But he also tells us something. Yeah. Christ was like, hey, what you doing, bro? So check this out. So that was just in my mind, like, damn, all right, cool. Like, we know who we are in the flesh, but we got to learn who we are. We infants in the spirit. So we got to ask God to help us mature in the spirit. God, help my spiritual maturity so that can overtake my fleshly maturity. But I'm going to go a little further than that, all right, quick, right? Here's something amazing about that. Once God tell us something, I'm gonna have to write this down. Once we hear what God tell us, I'm about to hit that correction. I'm not here for this. Salute, family. I'm gonna holler at you. I'm gonna help you out a little more. I'm gonna get you out the lie. You heard me? Because maybe you don't want to hear. I don't want you to hear nothing you don't want to hear. You heard me? So watch this. Check this out. Once we hear whatever it is that God is telling us, watch this, y'all. And I'm gonna go about my business. Once we hear what God is telling us, watch this. At that point, we gotta make a decision. And the decision we make is one of two things. You can't have a gray area with God. It's either or. Watch this. In order to disobey God, you got to manually override those instructions. Hear me here. And that disobedience turns into defiance. But it's spiritual defiance. Gotta go work out and work on my business. So watch this. Once you hear what God has told you, I don't think it was a coward. I can't tell you what you feel. So, C. Johnson, I can't tell you what you feel. So it's not for me to, you know what I'm saying? It's not for me to argue with how you feel, because I won't argue about the word. I'm just getting it from my interpretation. So if that's how you feel, shoot, You know what I'm saying? Like, bless. From my interpretation, I don't think he was a coward. I just think that he was spiritually immature. You know what I'm saying? And then what happened was God had already predicted that was going to happen. Right? Christ had already told him this was going to happen. So God used that for his good. He said, hey, listen, you going to defy me. Here's the dope part though. Go feed my sheep. Remember, Peter gave one of his best sermons after that. So watch this, y'all. Even in that, God didn't use that against Peter. He actually used it for his good. So I'm telling I want to tell everybody this before I go, right? Watch this. Watch this. Spiritually, we got to keep maturing, right? But in order for us to truly spiritually mature, watch this. Watch this. God, if I say this wrong, God, like, know that I'm trying to say it right. Right? C. Johnson, for sure. 100%, family. There are areas in your life where God would use, watch this. There are areas in your life where you are so strong at, but God needs to break you in those areas so he can use you for his good. Because we so accustomed to leaning on our strength. And when we lean on our strength, we move God out the way. And when we move God out the way, we become, watch this, y'all. When we move God out the way, we become spiritually egotistical. All right, this is just my word for the morning. I'm about to go hit the gym. Watch this. And when we are spiritually egotistical, God has to break us so that he can use us. All right, let me say it right quick, right? Peter was, watch this. Peter was spiritually immature. But he had physical strength. Peter knew who he was as a man. Yo, I'm about all that. I want all that smoke. And I'm gonna show you two people that did the same thing. Watch this. Peter wanted all that smoke, and then because Peter wanted all that smoke, he wasn't listening to what God told him. God said, hey, bro, you gonna deny me. Watch this. Look what Christ said to him. Christ said to him something that was so crazy. It was so phenomenal. But watch this. God can be talking to us and telling us what's about to happen, and we don't even be listening because, watch this, we so fleshly. We got so much strength in the flesh, but we don't got the spiritual maturity, so he not hearing it. Look what Christ told Peter. Christ told Peter this. Watch what he said to him. He said, hey, the devil asked to sift you like wheat, so I'm going to pray for you. I'm going to pray for your spirit. I'm going to pray for your faith. I'm going to pray that your faith endures. Watch this. He said, I'm going to pray that your faith endures. Oh, my goodness. That's a sign right there. Right? So God, like, what? Listen to me. So Christ telling him, listen, Christ telling him, hey, listen, this was going to happen. Peter like, man, you tripping. Watch this. I know what's about to happen, family. That's a sign of spiritual immaturity. Right? And all of us have that. Right? Here's why. Watch this. Peter, and here's how we know. Peter dropped everything he was doing to rock out with Christ. Peter dropped everything he was doing to rock out with Christ. Christ had done gave him multiple signs. Christ had done did multiple things. Watch this. Done did multiple things. So watch this. Because he done did multiple things, guess what? Peter actually is believing. Right? He like, nah, this is God. I might watch Peter, man. All of us got Pete in us. Watch this. God does something for us. We like, I'm rocking with you, big dog. Watch this. You can't catch no fish. Guess what? I'm gonna give you abundance. Oh man, I'm rocking with you, big dog. I believe. Right? Peter even said, God, even when he gave him all the fish, what Peter said, God, I'm not even worthy, fam. Peter said, yo, I'm a sinful man. Christ said, man, come on, man, I got you, dog. Don't even trip. Right? So Peter surrendered. Hey, I'm a sinful man. I'm letting you know I don't deserve this. Right? All of us, how many of us done told God that, like, God, look, man, look, I'm sinful. I don't even much deserve this, family. Right? Because you giving it to me, you deem me worthy, but I don't really, like, you got it. Right? So Peter rocking out. That's all of us. We done did that before. Right? Then they go through situations. We go to recruiting people. We standing on the front line like, hey, what's popping? Hey, don't rock with that. Don't do that. Like, this the OG right here. Right? God got me. Peter on the front line. All of us been there before. All of us been on the front line before, right? And look, God done did certain things. Watch this. God done did certain things. Watch this. When God went to wash their feet, when Christ went to wash their feet, right? Before the crucifixion, right? Christ go to wash their feet. Peter like, bro, I'm not letting you wash my feet, bro. Go ahead on with all that. You tripping, right? Again, spiritual immaturity. I'm telling you what I gotta do. I'm telling you what I gotta do. God, like you, I'm telling you what I gotta do. Sit down. Because if you don't do what I say do right here, you're not gonna be clean. I gotta do this. Peter like, man, you tripping. Right? Why? Because he's still spiritually mature. He's still spiritually immature. So God telling him, listen, God telling you what he gotta do. God telling you what gotta happen. But your spiritual immaturity and your reliance on the flesh is not letting you obey what's going on. You questioning, you define. God say, hey, I gotta do this. I gotta wash y'all feet. I gotta cleanse. I gotta do this. Am I not, like, watch this. Y'all, am I not the mighty one? The mightiest of us gonna serve. Why I'm the one down here. Sit down. Peter like, man, you tripping, man. I ain't about to sit down, man. I'm not about to let you wash my feet, man. Why? The pride, who I am. I'm not about to let you wash my feet. But in Peter's mind, I'm being loyal. Watch this. How many times have we let our loyalty of the flesh make us deny the spirit? Oh my God. God, I don't know why you testing me like this, man. God, listen, man, you know who I am. You know what I'm built like, God. I'm rocking with you, God. I'm not doing that. Right? But God not just a talker. God is also a doer. He gonna show us. Yep. Right? God is not a talker. He's a doer. Right? So watch this. So it ain't that Peter didn't hear God, but the spiritually maturity didn't let him do what? Submit fully. There's a lot of us just not submitting fully. We halfway there. That's why I say all of us got Peter in us. We halfway there. We like, bro, I'm with it, but dang, guys, you want me to do that? Man, you want me to let you wash my feet, bro? Golly, dog. I'm not letting you wash my feet. How you gonna tell God what you ain't letting we do? How you gonna tell God what you ain't let him do? But again, we gotta mature and we gotta realize that's part of the cycle. So I want you to know something, y'all. Watch this. There's gonna be times where we spiritually override God from our fleshly decisions. Listen to that again. We're going to spiritually override God. At least we think we are. Let me choose it another way. We're going to spiritually defy God based on our fleshly instinct and decisions. Catch that. Meaning, the decision that we make fleshly is going to spiritually intervene into what God's got to do. And so now what God has to do is he has to use he got to break us like a rose. He got to prune us. So he got to break us spiritually and physically. He got to break us in our strongest area of life to say, hey, now you go do my work. Let me say this one thing before I go. He did that with Moses. Watch this. Moses was a man that stuttered. Right? But Moses, we already know Moses was a killer and a fighter. That's what I want you to understand something. When people start judging you because of what you've been through, and people start judging you because of, like, even when people be telling me, man, you come from the streets, how the hell you gonna tell me about investing in finance? You come from the street. You just a dope dealer. You know what I'm saying? You an ex-dope dealer that found a new job. But watch this. I can't let that. In the beginning, it used to piss me off. Be like, bro, what you talking about, bro? Like, I'm trying to. But as I got older and as I started maturing, as I started crafting myself, I'm like, bro, I don't care. That's what you want. That's on you, dog. And I still didn't give up on it, people. But watch this. Moses was a man that stuttered. Moses used to be all, watch this. Moses actually used to be intimidated and feeling not worthy because he used to stutter, right? So what happened was God gave him the tongue to speak with power and authority. So watch this. God let him partner with him. Oh yeah, once you say you gotta run out of you first, that's a fact. That's a fact, man. So watch this. There's some things in our life that we feel like we are inadequate in. I'm an RN nurse and other nurses Google my rest. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's areas that the world would deem you inadequate in, and then you will take on those ideas of the world, and then you deem yourself inadequate. But God gonna use the same thing that you feel inadequate at and make you sovereign at, based under his authority, right? Gonna give you power in that area, right? So God gave Moses power of the tongue. The thing that made him adequate, God gave him power in that thing. So then Moses became a profound speaker. Moses became a profound. We already know Moses had that fight in him. We already know Moses got that dog in him. So God said, hey, I'm going to use that because that's going to give you authority. The people know you killed the Hebrew. The people know you killed the Egyptian. You know what I'm saying? They saw you kill the Egyptian with your bare hands, right? So Moses camped out. Watch this. So God let Moses partner with him. Moses didn't, watch this. God didn't partner with Moses. Moses let God partner with him. Watch this. Because God had a plan for Moses. So watch this. But I want you to understand something. Remember the thing that Moses was weak at, the thing that he felt intimidated with, was his stuttering. So God gave him power in that area. Now remember we talked about Peter, about that pride. Watch this. So Moses does all these things. He becomes profound at speaking to God. He becomes so profound at, watch this. He becomes so profound. He becomes so profound, y'all. And this just be me because I be reading the word and stuff be coming to me to be downloading them. And I be like, God, this is so good. Watch this. And I get to use it in my life because I get to tell myself what you using, Trap. So watch this. I gotta go work out. All right, watch this. So then Moses gets so proficient with his tongue. He gets so powerful in his tongue. Watch this. He does it for so long till he forgets that God gave him the power to speak that way. Watch. Not intentionally, but what happens is once we do a thing for so long and we get so proficient at a thing and the thing then becomes powerful, we know that we relying on God. We know that God gets us, but we forget in certain moments that God gave us the power to do a thing. So then God gives Moses instructions. Hey, speak to the rock. Once you speak to the rock, it's going to cherish, it's going to replenish all my people. Wait, hold up, God. Speak to a rock? Yes, speak to the rock. Don't do that. I'm going to give them water from a rock because I'm going to prove to them that I'm sovereign, that I'm the God. I don't know why I got to keep proving it to them, but yeah, I'm going to keep proving it to them. Moses, speak to the rock. Speak to the rock, Moses. You and Aaron, speak to the rock. It's going to quench everybody's thirst. Be good. And Moses' mind, bet, I got it. I'm going to speak to the rock. Moses go, he see the people tripping. He don't speak to the rock. He slapped the piss out the rock. Pop! Not only once, but twice. Remember what I told you about Peter, right? We get so strong in the flesh, sometimes we just lose focus on what God told us to do. We got to spiritually mature. But watch this. God will always put us in situations to show our spiritual immaturity so that we can lean on him a little bit more. So watch what happens. Moses hits the rock. Not once, not twice. Watch this. Watch this. God wanted him to speak to the rock. Speaking to the rock would have increased Moses's what? Obedience to God. It would have increased what? Moses's what? Power. It would have increased his influence, but it'll also glorify the mighty things of God. But watch this. God will never deviate on his plan. He'll just use somebody else to do it once you define him enough. Watch this. The same thing that Moses used to be weak at, God wanted to use that as another thing to accelerate his glory. But Moses reverted back to where his fleshly power was. Violence. Moses killed a man with his hands, so he was proficient at getting regulation through violence. I'm talking to myself. Moses had killed a man with his hands. So deep down, there was a residue of his past still within him. So because, watch this, you will never truly get rid of what you come from. You will never truly get rid of what made you who you are. Or so you think. Moses was a murderer. Moses was a fighter. Moses, that was already in him. So what happens is he had to keep on being obedient. Now, here's the crazy part. For 40 years, watch this, y'all. For 40 years, Moses had been leading these people. For 40 years, Moses had these people in the wilderness. Watch this profound message I'm about to tell you, y'all. After 40 years of being in the desert wasn't about Moses leading the people alone. The desert was about helping Moses spiritually mature, so he can overcome the residue of his violent nature. So even after 40 years of being in the wilderness, even after 40 years of working, of partnering with God, watch this, after 40 years of partnering with God, not only was God doing miracles for the people, the miracles that God was performing through Moses was also helping Moses spiritually mature. Even though God, oh my God, even though God was in the wilderness, people think that God was just proving himself to the Israelites. No. That is part of the equation. But God was also proving himself of becoming one in that partnership with Moses. Because understanding who Moses is as a man, his genetic makeup, violence, God like, yo, I gotta keep working miracles, not just for the people. I gotta keep working these miracles through you, so so my power can supersede the residue that's deep inside of you. So I can, listen to me, so I can keep on working on the residue that's deep inside of you. Because here's what I understand. In order for me to take you where I got to take you, there's going to be a moment where the residue inside of you, there's a moment where the residue inside of you will be tested, will be challenged at the forefront. And I need you to be able to lean on me, lean out on thy own understanding. I need you to be able to lean on me and not revert back to the default, man, not revert back to the residue that's deep within you. Because the minute you revert back to the residue that's deep within you, you defy my instructions. You spiritually defy my instructions. So here's what God had to do. God said, all right, watch this. Moses, I am 100% still going to let my people go where they got to go at. But you can't go. You can't go. Joshua, you up next. Moses, Jah, well done, my good and faithful servant. But I can't let you go behind this. I can't let you go beyond this point. So here's the last thing I want to tell you. At some point, God gonna tell us, I can't let you go beyond this point. I know you've been doing the work. You've done a great job. But I can't let you go beyond this point. Oh, Corey, you took it out of my mouth. You took it from me. And you still may be full of power and strength. Mind you, Moses wasn't an old withering man. He was older in age, but he still was full of strength. You had to be full of strength because you still was striking the rock. You ain't just striking the rock and you weak. You striking the rock because you still got strength and power. But guess what? The residue. We got to work. So Moses, listen, even though you still full of strength and power, I cannot let you go beyond this point. Come on, chill with me. Come on, chill with me. I'm not mad at you. Come on, chill with me. I'm going to put somebody else in place now. You've taken them far as I think you can take them. Because watch this. Watch this. The person who now is your successor, Joshua, I am with you as I was with Moses, but there's things in you that I don't have to. There's different, the things that you have are essential for this phase where Moses didn't. All right, I'm gone. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Put that on. Keep that in your brain. Just understand something, man. God gonna keep working on us, man. As long as we keep spiritually maturing. Understand that residue that's inside of you, the residue that's inside of you, the thing that makes you who you are. Listen, right? I want you to understand something. All of us gonna be on a journey. All of us on a journey. But God gonna keep having to test that residue. And it's the only way. Watch what I'm about to say before I go. In order to increase your territory, God needs us to increase that capacity. In order to increase that territory, God needs us to increase that capacity. And the way we spiritually mature and the way we increase that capacity is surrendering and being obedient. And here's what I want to tell every one of y'all. Yo, I promise you, saying it is one thing. That's the first part. But then application becomes the thing we got to work on every single day. All of us got Peter in us. All of us got Moses in us. But the goal is like Paul said, let the same mind that was in Christ be in you. There's a book I'm reading. There's two books I'm reading. One called A Bait of Satan. The other one called Leadership Principles of Christ. Those two books are so phenomenal. One, Peter and Moses was offended. That's from offense is the number one way that we defy God. When we feel offended. Listen, the number one way that we spiritually, the number one way that we spiritually override what God is saying is through offense. Why? Because there's a residue. Remember we said, like Peter and like Moses, we all have a residue inside of us. God has to keep on testing us to make sure that we can drown out that residue. I already know. Think about it, yo. I went to prison early for what? Attempt murder on robbery. So in my mind, regulating through violence, regulating through anger, being offended it's the residue that's already in me. I always gotta fight that. And watch this. Even after 40 years of being in the wilderness, the thing that made Moses spiritually be misaligned with God was his violent nature. God helped him overcome his speech impediment. He used his speech impediment, the thing that Moses felt inadequate at. God used that as his power because he spoke to Pharaoh. He spoke to Pharaoh in a tone that Pharaoh had never heard, with a type of authority, with a type of power. And Pharaoh like, who is this man? That was because of God. And it was some point in Moses' journey. And here's the thing. It ain't even that he just thought that he had he had authority over God or nothing like that. What happens is, in the moment when he saw something, because I think Moses had the right intention, in the moment he saw something that he did not like from the Israelites, he immediately reverted back to his violent nature. And that was the moment that he spiritually defied God, which came out in a byproduct of that was his physical actions. So when you spiritually defy God, it comes out of you in physical action. So what are you doing physically that is a byproduct of your spiritual defiance of God? For Moses, it was what? Hitting the rock. And so God says, hey, I love you, but you can't go no further. Even though Moses still had strength. So I just want to say something, y'all. Let's go into this month of December. I want us to work on what is the residue. And I challenge every last one of y'all. What is the residue inside of you that you know for sure is your default setting when you get tested? What is that residue that always comes out Oh, it's hard for me to hold my tongue. Oh, yeah, you got a sharp tongue. You get sarcastic. You shut down. You get nonchalant. You get violent. You get whatever. What is that thing that you know for a fact? It is how you spiritually defy God in those moments. And then your physical is the byproduct of your physical, your spiritual defiance. What is it? Let's work on that for 120 days, y'all. Let's pray on it. Let's read on it. Let's get some spiritual guidance, whatever that may look like. And let's work on just connecting with God in a way that helps us become spiritually mature. Remember, Moses walked in that desert, in that wilderness for 40 years. While God was using him to work on the people, God was using the miracles to also work on Moses. Look at that. Uncle T say, bro, it's hard for me to let things slide. Listen, I totally get it. So that means you know exactly what you got to work on. We know exactly what we got to work on in order to get in partnership with God. Listen to what I just said, yo. We know exactly what we got to work on and get in partnership with God. And here's the dope part about it, y'all. God will meet you. God will meet you. He don't want you to be perfect overnight. He going to say, hey, listen, he ain't asked Moses to be perfect overnight. Listen, when he was doing miracles with Moses, before he even went into the wilderness, I got you. Remember, Moses was in the wilderness dolo after he killed the Egyptian man. God working on him. Moses was still chilling after he seen the burning bush. God was working on him. So God don't want you to do it overnight. Right? But also God's going to say, hey, we've done a lot of work. We've done a lot of work. I need you to keep on. And then God going to keep testing you. Okay, let me see. So you got to keep on fighting the flesh. Even they said in the word, what? You got to kill the desires of the flesh every day, y'all. And I'm not coming like I'm no better than y'all. Trust me. I battle every day. Every day. All day. Every day. Every day. All day. Every day, all day. All right, man. So, all right, y'all, I'm about to go work out. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all, man. Have an amazing day. Let whatever happened yesterday be yesterday. To me, today we make the commitment to do what, y'all? Scrape the residue. Today, we make the commitment to scrape the residue. We're going to work on it for 120 days. I'm going to hold you accountable. You hold me accountable. For 120 days, we're going to work on scraping the residue so that we can be better. And remember, this is not a sprint. It's a marathon. And a marathon is get better to build a more intimate relationship with God. How do we know that God loves intimate relationships? Because when he blew into Adam, he didn't just blow life into him. He did that through intimacy. When he blew life into Adam, it's the only person. God blew life into Adam, which means he got intimate with Adam. Spiritual intimacy. That spiritual intimacy was allowed Adam to get up and start naming stuff that he had never sat down and gave him A-B. This is A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Spiritual intimacy is what God wants from us, y'all. And we do that by leaning on him. All right, man, I keep saying I'm gone. I gotta go. It's just because so much be happening in my life, man, as I keep reading the word, as I keep getting better. I'm not trying to be nothing I ain't. Listen, I just want to keep talking to people in the way that I can talk to them, man. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I adore y'all. I honor y'all. I hope y'all have an amazing day. Amazing day. All right, y'all. I'm gone.